Deep in the heart of the emerald jungle, where vines hung like green ribbons and flowers bloomed in every color imaginable, something was terribly wrong. It wasn't the usual chitter-chatter of monkeys or the gentle rustle of leaves. No, this was a sound that shook the very ground beneath their paws and wings. A sound that made the juiciest berries tremble on their bushes. It was the colossal, ancient, and very, very loud sleeping giant. Pip the pangolin, usually shy and preferring quiet corners, covered his sensitive ears with his tiny claws. Kiki the kingfisher, who usually zipped through the air like a streak of sapphire, wobbled precariously on her branch. Even Barnaby the boa, the wisest and slowest creature in the jungle, looked utterly frazzled, his normally serene coils twitching with annoyance. The sleeping giant, a magnificent moss-covered elephant, was snoring louder than ever before, and his snores were turning the once peaceful jungle into a rumbling, echoing mess. "This simply won't do," chirped Kiki, fluttering down to land next to Pip. "I can't catch fish. The water's too wobbly." Pip, in his quiet voice, added, "And I can't hear the juicy ants beneath the ground. It's too noisy to listen." Barnaby the boa, slowly uncoiling from a nearby tree, sighed. "It's been days now. No one can sleep, no one can eat in peace. We must do something. But how do you quiet a giant without waking him?" That was the trickiest part. Waking the sleeping giant would make him incredibly grumpy, and a grumpy giant was something no jungle creature wanted to face. So the unlikely trio embarked on a mission. Pip, with his exceptional hearing, pressed his ear to the ground, trying to pinpoint the epicenter of the rumbling. Kiki soared high above the canopy, her sharp eyes scanning the giant's enormous form for any clues. Barnaby, with his vast knowledge of the jungle's hidden secrets, offered ancient wisdom and carefully planned their approach. Their first idea was to try a gentle nudge. Kiki tried tickling the giant's enormous ear with a soft, fluffy feather she found. The giant simply twitched his ear, and a thunderous whoosh of air sent Kiki spiraling. Next, Pip, emboldened by desperation, attempted to sing a calming lullaby, a quiet, soothing melody, but the giant's snores only seemed to get louder, almost as if he were trying to sing along.
Barnaby, observing from a safe distance, noticed something peculiar. The rumbling seemed to be loudest near the tip of the giant's enormous trunk. Aha! He hissed. The source of the sound is small, not large. It's an internal tremor. They carefully, very carefully, crept closer to the giant's trunk. Pip strained his ears, and then his eyes widened. I hear it. A tiny scratching and a little humming. Kiki swooped low, peering into the cavernous opening of the giant's nostril. "It's a beetle!" she exclaimed. "A tiny, mischievous beetle has built its cozy little home right inside the giant's trunk. That's what's causing all the ruckus." Now the real challenge began. How do you get a beetle out of an elephant's nose without disturbing the entire, very sleepy, very grumpy giant? They couldn't just reach in. That would surely wake him. Barnaby the boa, after much thought and a few slow blinks, finally had an idea. "We need to tempt him out," he whispered, determined, "with something irresistible." Kiki, remembering the sweetest scent in the jungle, flew off and returned with a rare, highly aromatic moon blossom, its petals shimmering with a sweet, enticing perfume. Very gently, Pip placed the fragrant blossom just at the edge of the giant's nostril.
careful not to touch the sensitive skin. Slowly, carefully, a tiny antennae twitched. Then, a small, multi-legged creature, smelling the delicious scent, cautiously peeked out. It was indeed a beetle, a very surprised and slightly disoriented one. Enticed by the moon blossom, the beetle crawled out, took a deep sniff, and then happily flew off to find a new, less noisy home. As the beetle departed, an immediate hush fell over the emerald jungle. The rumbling stopped, the trees stood still, the river flowed calmly. The sleeping giant continued to snore, but now it was a soft, gentle rumble, a peaceful purr that blended into the jungle's natural rhythm. The jungle animals, finally able to rest, let out a collective sigh of relief, and Pip, Kiki, and Barnaby, the unlikeliest of heroes, knew that even the biggest problems can sometimes be solved by finding the smallest cause.